This meeting is being recorded.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our Sunday Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we will study Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1 and Chapter 10. The title is Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka, and the verses are from 1.10.23 to 25. Ladies of Hastinapur continue to glorify Krishna's qualities and pastimes. Please join us and relish their beautiful realizations. Today's guest speaker is Her Grace Lalita Devi Dasi. She's a disciple of His Holiness Radha Govinda Swami. She's highly inspired by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam by her Guru Maharaj and also other devotees. She's a great cook and enjoys cooking for Krishna and his devotees. She can cook up a lovely feast. She is also one of the lead cooks at the temple. Amongst other services, she makes magnificent garlands for Radha Madhava at ISKCON Leicester. Lalita Devi Dasi is a very warm, humble devotee, always welcoming everyone with the brightest of smiles. This is her first endeavor in giving the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Let us all send our best wishes to her. Over to you, Lalita Devi Dasi. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Hi, Krishna. Yes, we can hear you now.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Gokuleshwar Mataji, for the nice introduction. Thank you. So, are we going to start with Jai Radha Madhav?
Yes, please.
Okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Janavala Giridharidhari Yashodandana Braj Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramhams Parivrajacharya Ashura Sata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramhams Parivrajacharya Astutra Sata Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Vishnu Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि भक्त वृंद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय श्री राधा माधव की जय श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय श्री मायापुर धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा मई की जय यमुना मई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय बृहद मृदंगा की जय सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so today's verse, going to cover verse 23, 24, and 25 from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 10. Sava ayam yadam patras Sava ayam yat padam trasurayo Jitendriya nirjita matarishvana Pashyanti bhakti utkalitatmalatmana Nanvesha sattvam parimarshtam arhati. Sa, he, vai, by providence, ayam, this, yet, that which, padam atra, here is the same personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Suraya, great devotees, Jitendriya, who have overcome the influence of the senses, Nirjita, thoroughly controlled, Mata Rishvana, life, Pashyanti, can see, Bhakti, by dint of devotional service, Utkalita, developed, Amala Atmana, those whose minds are thoroughly cleansed. Nanu Aisha, certainly by this only, Sattvam, existence, Parimashtam, for purifying the mind completely, Arhati, deserves. Translation. Here is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose transcendental form is experienced by the great devotees who are completely cleansed of material consciousness by dint of rigid devotional service and full control of life and the senses. And that is the only way to purify existence. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As it's stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord can be known in his real nature by dint of pure um, devotional service only. So it is stated here that only the great devotees of the Lord who are able to clear the mind of all material dust by rigid devotional service can experience the Lord as he is. Jitendriya means one who has full control over the senses. The senses are active parts of the body, and their activities cannot be stopped. The artificial means of yogic process to make the senses inactive has proved to be abject failure, even in the case of great yogis like Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni controlled the senses by yogic trance, but when he happened to meet Menaka, a heavenly society woman, he became a victim of sex, and the artificial way of controlling the senses failed. But in the case of pure devotee, the senses are not at all artificially stopped from doing anything, but they are given different good engagements. When senses are engaged in more attractive activities, there is no chance of their being attracted by any inferior engagements. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the senses can be controlled only by better engagements. Devotional service necessitates purifying the senses or engaging them in the activities of devotional service. Devotional service is not inaction. Anything done in the service of the Lord becomes at once purified of its material nature. The material conception is due to ignorance only. There is nothing beyond Vasudev. The Vasudev conception gradually develops in the heart of the learned after a prolonged acceleration of receptive organs. But The process ends in the knowledge of accepting Vasudev as all in all. In the case of devotional service, this is very same method is accepted from the very beginning. And by the grace of the Lord, all factual knowledge becomes revealed in the heart of a devotee due to dictation by the Lord from within. Therefore, controlling the senses by devotional service is the only and easiest means. Text number 24. Sava ayam sakyanugita satkatho vedeshu guhyeshu cha guhyavadipi ya eka isho jagatatmalilaya sarjati avati atina tatra sajjate. Saha, he, vai, also, ayam, this, Sakhi, O my friend, Anugita, described, Satkatha, the excellent pastimes, Vedeshu, in the Vedic literatures, Guhyeshu, confidentially, Cha, and as also, Guhyavadipi, by the confidential devotees, Yaha, one who, Ekaha, one only, Ishaha, the supreme controller, Jagat, of the complete creation, Atma, supersoul, Leelaya, by manifestation of pastimes, Sarjati, creates, Avati Ati, also maintains and annihilates, Na, never, Tatra, there, Sajjate, becomes attached to. Translation. Oh dear friends, here is that very personality of Godhead whose attractive and confidential pastimes are described in the confidential parts of Vedic literature by his great devotees. It is he only who creates, maintains, and annihilates the material world, and yet remains unaffected. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, all the Vedic literatures are glorifying the greatness of Lord Sri Krishna. Here it is confirmed in the Bhagavatam also. The Vedas are expanded by many branches and sub-branches by great devotees and empowered incarnations of Lord like Vyasa, Narada, Sukadev Goswami, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlada, Janaka, Bali, and Yamraj. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the confidential parts of his activities are described by the confidential devotee Sukadev Goswami. In the Vedanta Sutras or Upanishads, there is only a hint of the confidential parts of his pastimes. In such Vedic literatures as the Upanishads, the Lord has expressively been distinguished from the mundane conception of his existence. His identity being fully spiritual, his form, name, quality, and paraphernalia, etc., have been elaborately distinguished from matter, and therefore he is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent persons as impersonal. But factually, he is the supreme person, Bhagavan, and he is partially represented as Paramatma or impersonal Brahman. Yada hi dharmena, text number 24. Yada hi dharmena tamodiyo nripa jivanti tatraisha hi satvat kila date Pagam Satyam Rutam Dayam Yasho Bhavaya Rupani Dadat Yuge Yuge Yada, whenever he assuredly adharmena against the principles of God's will, Tamadhiya, persons in the lowest material modes, Ripa, kings and administrators, Jivanti, live like animals, Tatra, thereupon, Esha, he only, Satvata, transcendental, Kila, certainly, Date is manifested, Pagam, supreme power, Satyam, truth, Ratam, positiveness, Dayam, mercy, Yasha, wonderful activities, Bhavaya, for the maintenance, Rupani, in various forms, Dadat, manifested, Yuge, different periods, Yuge, and ages. Translation. Whenever there are kings and administrators living like animals in the lowest modes of existence, the Lord, in his transcendental form, manifests his supreme power, the truth positive, shows special mercy to the faithful, performs wonderful activities, and manifests various transcendental forms as is necessary in different periods and ages. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As mentioned above, the cosmic creation is the property of the Supreme Lord. This is the basic philosophy of Sri Ishopanishad. Everything is the property of Supreme Being. No one should encroach upon the property of the Supreme Lord. One should accept only what is kindly awarded by him. Therefore, the earth or any other planet or universe is the absolute property of the Lord. The living beings are certainly his parts and parcels, or sons, and thus every one of them has a right to live at the mercy of the Lord to execute his prescribed work. No one, therefore, can encroach upon the right of another individual man or animal without being so sanctioned by the Lord. The king or the administrator is the representative of the Lord to look after the management of the Lord's will. He must therefore be a recognized person like Maharaj Yudhishthira or Parikshit. Such kings have full responsibility and knowledge from the authorities about the administrations of the world. But at times, due to the influence of the ignorance mode of material nature, tamoguna, the lowest of the material modes, kings and the administrators come into power without knowledge and responsibility. And such foolish administrators live like animals for the sake of their own personal interest. The result is that the whole atmosphere becomes surcharged with anarchy and various elements, nepotism, bribery, cheating, aggression, and therefore famine, epidemic, war, and similar other disturbing features become prominent in human society. And the devotees of the Lord or the faithful are persecuted by all means. All symptoms indicate the time of an incarnation of the Lord to re-establish the principles of religion and to vanquish the maladministrators. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord then appears in his transcendental form without any tinge of material qualities. He descends just to keep the state of his creation in a normal condition. The normal condition is that the Lord has provided each and every planet with all the needs of the native living beings. They can happily live and execute their predestined occupations to attain salvation at the end, following the rules and regulations mentioned in the revealed scriptures. The material world is created to satisfy the whims of the Nitya Baddha or everlasting conditioned souls, just as naughty boys are provided with playing cradles. Otherwise, there was no need for the material world. But when they become intoxicated with the power of material science to exploit the resources unlawfully without the sanction of the Lord, and that also only for sense gratification, there is necessity of the Lord's incarnation to chastise the rebellious and to protect the faithful. When he descends, he exhibits superhuman acts just to prove his supreme right. And materialists like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa are sufficiently punished. He acts in a manner which no one can imitate. For example, the Lord, when he appeared as Rama, bridged the Indian Ocean. When he appeared as Krishna, from his very childhood, he showed superhuman activities by killing Putana, Agasura, Sakatsura, Kaliya, etc. And then his maternal uncle Kamsa. When he was at Dwarka, he married 16,108 queens, and all of them were blessed with a sufficient number of children. The sum total of his personal family members amounted to about 100,000, popularly known as the Yaduvamsas. And again, during his lifetime, he managed to vanquish them all. He is famous as Govardhandhari Hari because he lifted at the age of only 7 the hill known as Govardhan. The Lord killed many undesirable kings in his time, and as Kshatriya, he fought chivalrously. He is famous as Asamordhava, unparalleled, so no one is equal to or greater than him. Om Agyantimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey, Namo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Vanchakalpatarubhyasha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Kurtishve Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivash Adi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jai Mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Nar Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Radha Govinda Goswami Namo Tam Karati Vaparam Lokam Yati Girim Tat Kripatam Ahvan Sri Guru Dinatari. So I welcome you all for today's class. Thank you very much for joining today's class. Okay, Gokuleshwar Mataji, can I ask you to share the text number 23 with all of us, please, if that's okay? I hope everyone can hear me. Okay.
Yes, madam.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so I just want to give you a quick recap on chapter 10, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. As we all know, we have heard from lots of devotees from the beginning to the chapter. From the beginning of chapter text number 1 to text 22. So I'm just giving you just a quick recap on this chapter, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. Lord Krishna resided in Hastinapur for a few months to pacify his relatives and to please his own sister Subhadra. He then took the permission from Yudhishthir Maharaj to leave Hastinapur to go to Dwarka to his house in Dwarka. After exchanging the obeisances and the embraces from loved ones, Krishna mounted his chariot, and that was very, very painful for the relatives of the Krishna to see that him leaving Hastinapur, and that pain was unbearable. Out of loving desire to see the Lord, royal ladies of Kurus, they got up on the top of the palaces and smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers upon the Lord, absorbed in the tones of transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is sung in select poetry. So the ladies here, they went on the roof of their houses and they began to talk of him. And this talk, it says that the talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. And on text number 21, ladies, they were saying that here is the original personality of Godhead, as we definitely remember him. He alone existed before the manifested creation of the modes of nature, and in him only, because he is the Supreme Lord, all living beings merge as if sleeping at night, their energy suspended. And it's quite interesting when I was listening to Srila Prabhupada class, and he mentioned, he's saying that at night when we go to sleep, we are practically dead. We die every night when we go to sleep, and we enter into the dreamland. And we in our dreams we are could be there are many activities take place in our dreamland, and really we forget our gross body, and we moved into uh, we travel, our subtle body travels to the dreamland, and we experience many things. But as soon as we come out of the as soon as we woke up um, in the morning, we again regain our consciousness and continue our daily activities. So it's quite interesting that these ladies, they're talking about Lord Krishna, and they understand that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this can be only possible because they have heard it from the authoritative sources, because this Vedic truth cannot be otherwise known to anyone who are not the devotees of the Lord. So certainly these ladies, they are great devotees of the Lord, and they're talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this verse, again, they continue to talk about Krishna, and what they're saying here, they're saying that Sarva Ayam. So this is how this verse starts. Sarva Ayam. Here is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose transcendental form is experienced only by the great devotees. Why? Because Krishna's darshan, Krishna's darshan is very ati durlabham. It's not easily uh, attained by the people who are not devotees of Krishna. It's only Surya. Surya, here, the Surya means great devotees. The only Surya Pashyanti can see the Supreme Personality, Lord Krishna. Why? Because they have conquered the senses, Jitendriya. They have conquered the senses, or they have overcome the influence of the senses. I do remember the very nice verse from Nectar of Instruction, the first, the text number 1. Vacho vegam manaso krodha vegam, jivha vegam udaro prastha vegam, etan vegan yo vishahita dhira, sarva apimam pratvim sasishyat. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the action of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. And this verse very nicely summarized the definition of the word mentioned here, Jitendriya. Jitendriya, Jit means to conquer, and Indriya is the senses. The one who has conquered the senses is a Jitendriya. And also Prabhupada mentions that one has to conquer the senses, because unless one becomes Goswami, Go means the senses and Swami means the master. So unless one becomes the master of the senses, it is very difficult to escape the influence of the three modes of material nature. As it says in Bhagavad Gita, Ahankar vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of the false ego, thinks himself the doer of the activity. So now the question is how to fix the restlessness or the fickleness of the mind. As even Arjun um, admits that it's very difficult, oh Krishna, it's very difficult to control the mind. Um, the mind speed the mind speed, as we all know, that we could just by thinking of one place, even think, let's say I'm thinking about Vrindavan at the minute, my mind is going there, and so my senses, and I'm experiencing what I have already experienced in Vrindavan. uh, I'm thinking about, for example, waking up early in the morning, going to the Mangala Aarti, um, chanting and dancing with the devotees and doing my rounds. So that's the mind speed. With mind speed, you can go anywhere, literally less than a second. So, um, so yes, it's very difficult to control the mind. Generally, uh, we are all the Godasa, the the servant of the senses. As senses dictates to do this, to eat this, to see this, immediately we serve our senses. So how to control, how to fix our mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. So the characteristics or the attributes of devotees is very nicely in a compact way. It's been described or explained here that the devotees, they are Surya, great devotees, Surya, and Pashyanti. So they Jitendriya Nirjita Mata Rishvana, Jitendriya, they have controlled their senses. They have they have a complete control over their life and the senses, and also with the dint of rigid devotional service. So so this is how we can able to see the or the experience the form of Krishna. Uh, So, as in purport also, Prabhupada mentioned that who are able to clear the mind of material dust by rigid devotional service, they the one who is qualified to see the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, for neophyte devotees, sorry, not, pardon me, beg your pardon, not the neophyte devotees, but I was talking about the um, Mayavadis or the atheist class of people who, uh, for example, even from Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see Hiranyakashipu, for example, or Kamsa or Ravana, although although Lord Rama was present in front of Ravana or Lord Krishna in front of Kamsa, they could not see the Supreme Lord because they 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 have no control over the senses. They are completely in delusion. They think I am the Lord. I am. No one is above me. This is how Hiranyakashipu used to think as well. So it's very interesting that to see the Lord, you have to have the eyes, you have to have a chakshus to see the Lord, and that only happens when you are completely cleansed of the material consciousness by dint of devotional service and full control of life and senses. So we can learn here that how to fix one's mind at the lotus feet of Krishna is there is a very nice verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakar Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Mayara Adhikar. So Krishna is just like sun, and Maya is just like darkness. So if the sun is present, there is no question of darkness, right? So similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of minds being agitated by Maya's influence. And uh, there's one nice word in Bhagavad Gita on this as well, that how it goes. Apuryamanam machalam pratishtam samudramapa pravashanti tadvat kamam pravashanti sarve sashantim apnoti nakamakami. The person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that runs like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled and always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desire. So we have to become that river which flows into ocean. So we have to become that ocean which always being is ever being filled. So we in our daily life we go through so many um, uh, so many different scenarios, so many different uh, things in life, the ups and downs, and as it says in Matra Sparshas to Kunteya, Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkada. So we go through these ups and downs, happiness and distress, feeling good, bad. But what Krishna is suggesting, what Krishna is saying, that you have to tolerate. You have to tolerate whether it's a good thing coming in the life, you still have to be equal, uh, or the bad thing coming into life. As a devotee, we take whatever comes in our life as by mercy of Krishna, and we see there is a purpose behind why whatever is happening to us is it eventually it will reveal to us, but we have to have a faith in Krishna. So devotee, they always have a faith in Krishna. They see Krishna is the only protector. They see that Krishna is my life, and um, it doesn't matter when we go through the rough patch in our life, we still have to have a 100% pure, 100% faith in Krishna, and we should pray to Krishna that Krishna, um, it's okay. You have put me in this situation. I'm sure there must be some purpose for purpose, and that's the only reason why you have put me in this situation. But please allow me to remember you. Please allow me to chant your name, even in whatever situation I am in. And that is called the I guess dint of rigid devotional service, because you're not forgetting Krishna even for a second. Um, you should always remember Krishna and never forget him. That's the mantra, as devotee, we always keep very close to our heart. Here in this purport, Prabhupada, he's explaining that the artificial means of yogic process, so this yogic process is the yoga of eightfold mysticism, Ashtanga yoga. Ashta means eight, so it's anga means the limbs. So it's the Ashtanga yoga is comprised of yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, dhyana, dharana, and then samadhi. So this yam means means controlling, and like that. So there are this eightfold practice of yoga. It's not possible in this in this lifetime is next to impossible task to do. And that's why Prabhupada, he's explaining that and giving this example of Vishwamitra Muni. Even Vishwamitra Muni, he's trying to control his senses by yogic trance, but he failed when he saw and when he met Menaka. He desired to have her and enjoy with her. So yeah, it's a complete failure. If somebody is trying to go into this yogic process without understanding the real yoga, which is to link yourself to the supreme. So it's a linking process. It's called bhakti yoga, and that bhakti yoga is so important because Bhakti yoga is the only yoga which is complete, and you don't really need any other types of yoga to combine, because it's complete yoga. Just by doing the bhakti yoga, you can keep yourself fit while you're chanting and glorifying Krishna in the kirtan. You can dance, and in that way you can keep yourself fit. You don't really have to go to gym for this. And the prasadam, who don't enjoy taking the sumptuous, amazing Krishna prasadam. So in so many ways, hearing the Krishna Katha, um, uh, you know, glorifying Krishna Katha with devotees, getting a very good, nice devotee association. So in all ways, it's a complete yoga, and you really don't need anything else to do apart from doing bhakti yoga. And there's instructions that's been given here as well. I'll just quickly read this one. Is from Srimad Bhagavatam, saying that Krite yad dhyayato Vishnum tre Krite yad dhyayato Vishnum Tretayam yajito makhai Dwapare paricharyayam kalu tad harikirtanam. So again, this confirms that in this, so whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by performing the Lord's lotus feet, by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, yeah. So this is the dharma of this yuga, to chant and glorify Krishna's name. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the senses can be controlled. Again, from the purport of purport by Srila Prabhupada, this purport, text number 23. Prabhupada is mentioning here that in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the senses can be controlled only by better engagement. And that also confirms in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, 11, text number 11 purport, as it says that ahara shuddho sattva shuddho driva smriti lambe sarva grantinam viparamoksha. By performance of yajna, one eatable becomes sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. And by the purification of the existence, finer tissue in the memory becomes sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of the liberation. And all this combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present-day society. And to conclude this verse, as Prabhupada explaining, the material conception is due to ignorance only, and there is nothing beyond Vasudev. How interesting is this? That to understand, to know the Vasudev is is the ultimate purpose of all the Vedic knowledge. And it says that the Vedic literatures are the guiding directions for the conditioned souls, so they can get free from the repetition of creation and annihilation of the material world and the material body. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that this created world and the material energy are under his control, also confirmed by Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita 5.33, which goes like this: Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. How interesting that uh, Krishna, he is Durlabham. He is not accessible to the Vedas. So this Vedantist, so-called Vedantists, they seems to know everything about Vedas, but they're missing the point. They don't know who Krishna is, or they do not accept the authority of Krishna. They think there is no God, or God is impersonal. It's just a Brahma Jyoti, and there is nothing beyond Brahma Jyoti, as if they have seen there is nothing beyond Brahma Jyoti. But anyway, this is confirmed by Lord Brahma himself, that Krishna is inaccessible to the Vedas, but he is easily available to his pure devotees. Right. So going to the text number 24, if you don't mind, Gokuleshwar Mataji, going to the text number 24 for me, please. How much time do we have? Another 5 minutes, maybe. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so again here, the friends, the ladies, they were talking to each other, and they were saying, they're trying to confirm, and it's like, it's like, for example, there is a, I don't know, prominent personality, president, or your favorite star or singer, if you have one, for example, coming to somewhere, or let's say coming to the Sunday Feast program, then is that there will be a buzz in the community, in the friends group, and saying that, oh, that's him, and because it's just so much uh, you there's a buzz going on about that personality, because it's very rare to see the famous personality going to the public place, for example. It's in a similar way. These ladies, they were again confirming that, oh, my dear friends, here is that very personality of Godhead, whose attractive and confidential pastimes are described in the confidential parts of the Vedic literature by his great devotees. and they're saying that it is he only who creates, maintains, and annihilates the material world, and yet remains unaffected. So, like Sarva Ayam, so the lady saying Sarva Ayam, saying Sakhi. Sakhi means friends. So saying that, oh dear friends, here is that very personality of Godhead whose attractive and confidential pastimes are described. So why, and then they're saying the second part of this verse, they're saying that Ya Eka Isho Jagat Atma Leelaya. Ya Eka. Eka means he only. Isha, the supreme controller. Jagat Atma Leelaya. It is he only who creates by manifestation of pastimes, Leelaya, manifestation of pastimes. So how he does this? He does it with anayas. So there is prayas and there is anayas. Prayas means you have to make an effort. You have to make effort to do something, and that's generally the case of us human beings. Or I would say it's the only way human being survives in this world, by prayas. You have to make effort to do anything. But Krishna, he does it as effortlessly. There is no effort when he creates, and there's no effort when he maintains, and also there is no effort when he annihilates. And also when he annihilates, when he destroys this material world, he still remains unaffected. So there is no attachment to his creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world. He does it only by sankalpa. Sankalpa means just maybe, how do I explain? Sankalpa means just desiring or thinking about it in your mind, for example. He does it like that. He doesn't have to like really make a big plan, and like how he does in material world. Like, for example, if you want to build a house, for example, then we have to plan, isn't it? We have to first of all find out that, oh, where to build my house, go through all the process of buying the properties, of buying the land, engaging the architect and making a plan, and then obviously lots of finances involved, and many other things involved to build the house. But Krishna, he does it only by sankalpa. And also Avati Ati. Avati Ati means also maintains and annihilates, but never, tatra, there, sajjate, becomes attached to. He never becomes attached. And that's why he is the Supreme Lord, right? For human being, it's not possible to create something just by desiring, let alone maintaining or and eventually destroying something. Right. Okay. I'll just quickly finish this, and I understand it's 8:45 now. So and there's a very nice verse on this from Sri Ishopanishad. Also, I'm going to text number 25 just to complete the text 25, if that's okay, in 1 or 2 minutes. Is that okay, Gokuleshwar Mataji, Chaitanya, Karuna Chaitanya Prabhu? I know I'm probably 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. I'll just quickly cover the text 25.
Sure, Mataji, sure.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, so let me go to text number 25 now. If that's okay, if you can share the text 25 on the screen with us. Thank you, Prabhu. Here, So here in this verse, it says that whenever there are kings and administrators living like animals in the lowest modes of existence, the Lord in his transcendental form manifests his supreme power, the truth positive, shows special mercy to the faithful, performs wonderful activities, and manifests various transcendental forms as is necessary in different periods and ages. So, um, it- so this verse reminds me of the verse from Bhagavad Gita, 4.27, I believe. That what is that verse? Janma karma chame divyam yo me veti tatvata tyatya deham punar janmanaiti mam eti. So Arjuna. So Krishna, he explains this, that, and it's very interesting, and it's very important for us to know the Krishna's janma, Krishna's appearance, and karma, Krishna's the pastimes on this earth. And it's very interesting that it's also kind of like link in this verse as well, that and then Krishna saying in Bhagavad Gita, Yeda Yeda hi dharmasya glanin bhavati bharata. So again, this confirms here that Krishna comes yuge yuge, millennium after millennium, when there is too much burden by the kings and administrators uh, who are not fit to have that position. But unfortunately, this is a Kali Yuga, and the kings and administrators, they live like animals, and because of that, because of that reason, the devotees of the Lord, unfortunately, they have to go through the loss of pain, in terms of, as you can see that the Shudras, when they controlling everything, then where the Brahmana lives with, there's nothing in terms of the you can see the um, in today's society, nobody inquiring about uh, the real self, the Atma. Nobody's inquiring that, who am I? Why am I here? And what are the purpose? What is the purpose of me being my what is the purpose of my existence? And also we can see that there are so many subjects covered, and so many other new subjects coming in the curriculum in the schools, but where is the subject of soul? Why are they missing out? Why they're not understanding when they're saying that the today's modern generations, they are super intelligent? If they are intelligent, then why they're missing out this very basic needs of human being, to understand, to to understand that who I am, and what is the purpose of my life. And Atata Brahma Jignasha, as says in Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the very first question. As a human being, this is the very first question we all should ask. Atata Brahma Jignasha. Now I've been given this human form of life, so now I should inquire from the submissively from the right source, that what is happening in the world all around, why this is happening. But anyway, so so yeah, and also just want to conclude by saying a verse from Sri Ishopnishad. It concludes actually, as it says in in the purport of Srila Prabhupada, that if I scroll down on this purport, where It says, do you mind, Prabhu, to scroll down a little bit on this purport? Just want to read where Prabhupada says from Upanishad. I do appreciate it's a long purport. But anyway, let me just read text number 14 from Sri Ishopanishad, and then I'll conclude here. So in the, it's okay, Prabhu, that's fine. Thank you, Prabhu. So in this verse from Sri Ishopanishad, it says that one should know perfectly this personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and his transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men, and animals. When one knows this, he surpasses the death. He surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So the conclusion from this verse, as I understand, that we should be making sure that this lifetime, as it's been granted to us, we should make sure that we do our Krishna consciousness very nicely and hopefully go back to Godhead, back to Krishna in this lifetime and never come back in this material world again to go through all the pain and pleasure. So thank you very much for listening, and I welcome any questions or comments if you have any. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hariba.
Hare Krishna.
Lalita Devi Mataji, thank you very
Yes,
much
Prabhu.
for
Thank you,
your
Prabhu.
wonderful class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I have not a question, but I want your opinion about the text 25th just now. We have read it and there is a translation right in front of us. It says, whenever there are kings and administrators living like animals in the lowest modes of existence. Now, in the current situation in the Ukraine and Russia, the war is going on. What is your opinion? Because this is also the kings and administrators like animals. They are fighting in the lowest mode of existence. What is your opinion? What is the solution?
Well, Prabhu, thank you for sharing your thoughts. And well, my opinion, I'm not sure how much it counts, but I was just listening to Srila Prabhupada class from 1977, I believe, and it was quite interesting because Prabhupada, what he explained or in that class is still relevant to today's present day current situation, because he was talking about these godless people. They're trying to show their prowess and trying to make this nuclear weapon, and America is making one, and then Russia is literally Prabhupada was saying about America and Russia and he was talking about the nuclear weapon, and there will be a war, when there's any dispute, when there's any disagreement, there will be a war between them. And I was quite amazed and shocked to hear that, wow, this is what is happening at the minute, but with Russia and Ukraine. So yes, so like you said, Prabhu, it's very precarious and very it's not a nice situation at the minute. But when I was listening to another class by Radheshyam Prabhu, and he mentioned something, and it really struck me, and I felt like wow. He was explaining that this earthquake or any calamities, or when somebody go through some not very good situation, or especially like earthquake or tsunami, or I don't know, something, or even this situation what is happening between in the Ukraine. And he was explaining that is I know it's very painful to hear when we hear certain things like this, but he was explaining that it's all due to our own past karmas, that any situation happens because we are repaying our own karmas. Who knows that what we have done in our past life, or we could have probably done the same thing to other people, and now we are repaying in this way, in this adi Devic way or adi Bautic way. So it's very difficult to say, but at the same time it's very painful when we hear people are going through so much pain, and especially the children's and the ladies and old people. It's just very painful to hear and see in the news, but unfortunately it's very difficult for me to say anything on this, Prabhu. But all I can say is we can pray for all the souls who who have um, departed from this world because of this war, and we also pray and pray to Krishna that please look after all the people in the world, not just Ukraine. Ukraine, I know they're going through the pain, but generally everyone in this material world, all souls, every one of us, because we all conditioned souls and we all have our pain and pleasure. We all been put into this material world just because we wanted to turn our face uh, and, um, and enjoy without Krishna. And unfortunately, this is the reason why this is happening. If these administrators, if these kings and presidents, president of the any countries, if they are following the principles of Krishna consciousness, if they're following the Vaishnava Dharma, what is the Vaishnava Dharma? Paradukya Dukhi. You cannot be sukhi by seeing others dukhi. If these administrators, if they are happy to see innocent families dying just because they want to rule something, or just they want to become the god of some countries for temporary, because this is all temporary. They're not understanding this, and this is my really as I mentioned, that this is the real problem of life, a real problem of this material world, because Krishna is saying that he has equipped fully all the paraphernalia for human being to enjoy and live peacefully in this lifetime. Even in Kali Yuga, in this lifetime, Krishna has given us everything to just live peacefully and uh, in and happily in this life. But because this is human nature to encroach, human nature to accumulate more than necessary, and this is the real problem, in my opinion. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Citing the same verse, it is written here. Thank you for your wonderful opinion. It is written here that the truth positive and shows special mercy to faithful. Now we see there are faithful people in Ukraine, and a lot of destruction has taken place. I was thinking that somehow those who are having a faith should support the truthful or faithful people in Ukraine, like the devotees of Ukraine, whichever way possible. As far as we are concerned, we can support them financially by contributing some funds, and I think some countries they are doing it. They will be definitely requiring for their maintenance and what do you call that, again build up the things. And this is how I was thinking to help the devotees in Ukraine. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. That's wonderful. We should help everyone, especially the devotees, because devotees are so dear to Krishna. And Krishna, he's saying that he eats from the mouth of devotees, from the mouth of Vaishnavas. So, oh yes, it is our prime duty to help all the people of the world, but especially the devotees of the Lord, because they're very dear to Krishna. So thank you very much, Prabhu, for doing the wonderful job of helping. And this is your merciful nature in my eyes, that this is how you see it, and really helping with your tan, man, and dhan with whatever you can do. And definitely we all should do the same. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Haribol Mataji. Thank you.
Okay. Is any more questions or comments for today? If not, then we can stop here, if that's okay, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you,
was your
Prabhu.
first class, and you did very well. Thank you. You covered all the points, all the from Prabhupada's class as well as purport. Very well presented. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I look forward to hear more from you.
Yes, sure, Prabhu. Hopefully, if Krishna and Guru and Gauranga allows, definitely. Thank you, Prabhu.
Her Grace Lalita Mataji ki jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji. Wonderful class.